Ah, Dylan, what can I do for you?
I was taking my friend on a tour of the station and thought I would introduce you. Drow, this is Ambassador Londa Malari of the Centauri Republic. Ambassador Malari, this is Drow. For many years, my mentor and teacher.
I am honored.
Thank you. I hope we are not intruding.
Oh, no. I was just doing a little studying.
Oh.
These Earthers. I try to find out as much as I can about them to try to make some sense of them, but it never seems to come together.
There do seem to be a mass of contradictions.
Exactly my point. Here, 6,000 years of recorded history, a history that includes remarkable composers, astonishing symphonies. But what is the one song that half of them sing to their children generation after generation? You put your right hand in, you put your right hand out, you put your whole self in, and you turn yourself about. You do the hokey pokey, you give a little shout. That's what it's all about. It doesn't mean anything. I have been studying it for 7 days. I had the computer analyze it. I swear to you, it does not mean a thing.
We've come at a bad time, haven't we?
Now, to those who are into what PEDs do, I understand maybe my word employment of the term estimate a PED scat maneuver. I forgot, I didn't think about how those scat, it's like what they say Hitler was into. What was the name of the practice? Do you remember the name? The shit-eating one. Anyway, by a ped scat field, I mean case made against me by a pedo man, Roger Markby, and his sidekick Gary Cans. And so traces of it crop up as the two of them don't face justice, and I don't get to face the principal as the hostage here, then the differential that meters out is that these warrantless cops turn up to frisk you, to touch your balls. They're to present to me papers from a municipal court judge to even approach me about any matter were there not additional preceding legal matters for me to tend to. They're still to turn up with a municipal court warrant, or that to explain how and why I'm their child by adoption, and that requires some consent on my behalf since passing the age of 18. My mum could marry them, I suppose. My mum could marry them all, but even then, the fact of my being past age 18, the law holds. So what he'll try and do is create this ped scatter field where he'll go, well, look, what you did wasn't too bad, what you did wasn't so bad, so how can I be so bad after all? How can I be that bad, really? Like, look at what you just did and look at the response you got. Was it that bad compared to what... Meanwhile, he knows that what I've got against him is... it's only really gotten partial mention because it is the intellectual property of a pending court hearing. So, him painting you clues to his own idiocy, his own ped idiocy, and peducation, workplace peducation and training. That he can and will do, but transference goes on amongst the best of you. It goes on amongst the highest ranked of you. So, yeah. I'll leave it with you to think about that. Do you want to be the accessory to two pedophilic businessmen just because their business is spelt in capital letters and you haven't read Ayn Rand speak about capitalism yet, and you have the Bible instead, and capitalism, the unknown ideal, she called it. Now how might a capitalist represent me? Which is to say, misrepresent me. So you have shown that you were investing in this backlog, which is where, in holding me here against convergence on the legal principle, which you know by now is to occur elsewhere, you're essentially building like a bank account, the equivalent of a bank account of you piggers acting in the pedophilic shadow of Gary and Roger for them. That's what they'd like you to do for them. They'd like the officer to kneel saying, "Why don't you follow my command?" while he points his butt cheeks at the children's playground at Dixon Church. I am more than completely aware of some of what you've said about me in relation to a psych profile, but if psych costs you your paternity when you're 5, just the establishment of a psych profile again requires a municipal court hearing, with me present at the hearing, and me to discuss the profile in the presence of a municipal court judge. The fact that that hasn't happened is, again, you might call it the graffiti spray can of the Peggy Canaries that is Gary and Roger. You guys have interfered with a decade of me advancing and working on my art, which is evidence that substantiates my claim that you were to have threatened me to either have continued to work for Capital Chemist or be lumped among the nutcases. So there is a need for convergence. Art's already out. That is superior to the need for convergence, but should be enough to flag some of you morons out there. So this is what you get when you decide that it's better to leave your mind plagued and call it the wonders of God. That a king forcefully married one of his sons to one of his daughters, and they spent their lifetime growing up boldly, going, we are the princes and princess of Bronze Age castle number blah blah blah. And then the years passed and they became king and queen of castle Bronze Age blah blah blah. And then when the guy the king returned to his bedchambers to get a blowjob from his betrothed, who it didn't matter to him so much because of the intensity of all the political teaching, that she was his cousin, his sister, whoever. He wasn't enjoying the blowjob, so he couldn't bear to look at him. He wouldn't look he kept blocking his own view of his blowjobs by poking out his rib cage. But it was too embarrassing to tell the scribe directly. The scribe would have laughed at him, and he would have laughed at him. So instead he told the scribe that on the first day, God created man, saw man was lonely, and then removed a rib from man, and then used that rib to create the first woman, so that he could never be lonely. And you call this the wonders of creation. When it's really a literary trace to the blunders of us coming to terms with our evolution. The commoners, the castle people, Well, they needed like horns like this. They needed helmets or something, because I suspect they ran themselves and head-butted so many concrete walls that the scrolls just rolled out into public possession. In the beginning, blah, blah.